Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And joining me right here is Jenny Spear. Hey, Jenny, how's it going?
Hey, Kayden, it's going well. How are you?
Doing good myself. So, kind of tell us a little bit on how you got your start with your music.
All right. I kind of grew up in a musical household, and my dad was well into classical music. His favorite composer was Beethoven. Um, and then my parents said that I should learn the piano, and that lasted for about a month. But then I swapped to guitar, and then I just fell in love with the instrument. So it started from there, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome, for sure. And um, what is one thing that you most enjoy about your music?
You mean playing my music or listening to it or all of the above?
All of the above, yeah.
Look, it just music transports you to another place and often another time. Um, and it is just such an amazing way of expressing how you feel at a particular point in time, and that can change from day to day, hour to hour. And writing music is just, um, it's a real kind of solo sport, but it's so personal, and you can just say whatever you want through music. It's amazing.
Absolutely. If you could duet with any singer, who would it be and why?
That is a tough question, my friend. Do they have to be alive or dead? Or, I mean,
All
can
of
they
the
wait?
above on that, too.
I would say Neil Young. Yeah, just because he's just got so much texture and beauty in his voice and his delivery, and his songwriting is just off the chart amazing. I think so anyway.
Absolutely, for sure. Where can people find you on social media?
Okay, so I'm on the usual places like Instagram, Facebook. I also have a site on Bandcamp, so if you want to just download my music from there, you can. I'm on the channels like Amazon, Deezer, all of those sorts of things.
Awesome, for sure. What advice would you give someone that might want to start singing?
Do it. Absolutely do it. Don't be afraid. Just get out there and do it, and just express yourself, and don't compare yourself to the great singers that you see on any of those reality shows. Just do it for yourself and have fun, and then collaborate with other people.
Do you have any new singles or any upcoming projects that we can look forward to?
Yeah, I have an album coming out hopefully towards the end of this year, October, November. It's actually going to be an EP, so 6 or 7 tracks. And so it's kind of like a follow-up to my single Always the River. I've got another track out called Alpha Romeo that's also available on Spotify and places like that. So yeah, I've got a bit coming up.
Awesome, for sure. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Um, Having a really good time continuing to play music with my good friends, recording, and hopefully being able to get overseas, fingers crossed, toes crossed. That would be amazing. I'd love to come to the States.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a singer you look up to? And if so, why do you look up to them?
A singer.
Yeah.
um okay, so I think that Stevie Nicks, she's definitely one of my idols. Linda Ronstadt, she just, has she produced the most beautiful, beautiful work. Lana Del Rey, Imelda May, they're a few of my heroes, but I also love Prince.
What are your hobbies and interests outside of music?
um, it sounds a little bit kind of weird, but I love ice skating. I learned how to do that when I was little in Canada, so that's kind of stayed with me. And it sounds kind of stupid, but I love knitting. Um, and I also just love bushwalking. Australia's got some amazing bush around here, and I love to get out in it.
Yeah, just getting out in itself for sure.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is the best piece of advice another musician has ever given you?
Um, Stop comparing yourself to others, because And I think that that's an amazing bit of advice, because, you know, it's different from admiring other people and listening to what they do and thinking, yeah, I'd love to do that, but realizing that as a musician, you are unique with a unique set of gifts to offer to the world.
Absolutely. Did you play any instruments when you're in school? And if so, what'd you play?
I played the recorder. That was a disaster. But then luckily I discovered the guitar. So, you know, my recorder days were short-lived. I did try the trumpet once. That was also not for me.
Mm-hmm. What is it about music that makes you feel passionate?
Just the way it can really grab you by the throat, you know, like that experience, for example, if you're driving a car and you hear an amazing song come on and you just want to keep driving until that song finishes, because music has the power to do that, to transport you like no other art form can, I believe. It's just so special and so personal to people. And music helps people when they're feeling down. It's great when you're feeling happy. It's just such a fantastic thing to have around.
Absolutely. Describe your favorite venue that you performed at, if you performed at any.
Yeah, I've performed at quite a few, but I think that there's a really nice venue in Sydney that I've performed at, that is basically, it's very opulent. It's got chandeliers everywhere. There's also another great little place called the Gasoline Pony, and the reason I love that is because it's so small, but it's just so cool. So I'd say that that would be one of my favorite venues to play at. Yeah.
Is there another musician that you've had the pleasure of mentoring or training? And if so, who was it?
Well, I taught guitar. I still do teach guitar for a long time, but I've seen musicians that I've mentored and taught go on to have great careers. I've got one who's now a trumpeter because I taught concert band for a while. So she's off in Queensland doing her own thing. I've got several musicians that I still know who have got musical careers now, and they sing and play guitar, and they're in bands, and it's just so great to see that happen, and it's just lovely to stay in touch with them.
What would you do if you ever made a mistake during a performance?
Just keep going, man. You know, you just keep going. It's like, when we're all human, we all make mistakes, and sometimes, you know, if you listen to some of the early recordings of, say, Led Zeppelin, those albums are full of mistakes, but they become part of the fabric of the song. So I don't think it's a disaster when you make a mistake necessarily.
Which kind of jumps me into my next question. Describe your creative process when you write new music.
Ooh, that can really vary. You know, sometimes I'll literally do something like, I'll be hearing something in my head and I'll just sing it into my phone, you know, and then I'll come back to that later. Often, funnily enough, when I'm driving around in my car, I get my best ideas, but also I've started to write things down, because when I wake up, I dream of music and it comes into my head just as I'm sort of waking up. So I like to capture it if I can.
Absolutely, for sure. What skills have you been able to gain that makes you a good musician?
I think patience. You know, you have to be kind to yourself too, and realize that there are certain things that are going to take a while for you to kind of get right, but you have to be persistent. You have to be willing to practice, and you have to be willing to hone your craft and look at a lyric and think, oh yeah, that might work. Yeah, I'm just going to try something different. And just being able to have the, I don't know, I guess the freedom to experiment and know that that's a really good thing to do, not just have a hard and fast way of doing something, but and also listening a lot to other musicians. I think that's really, really important, that you just keep, you know, to keep growing as a musician. It's really important to gather your influences and expand your influences.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that I forgot they'd like to share with us today?
Oh, look, I'd just like to thank you for having me on your show. It's been absolutely lovely speaking with you, and thanks for inviting me here.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to say a huge thank you to Jenny Spear for joining me right here on the King Gordon Show, today's Best Country Mix. We appreciate your time, Jenny.